everybody. I'm with a very good friend and longtime speaker on the circuit, Craig Ure at ZoomDazzle. Good morning, Craig.
Hi, Allan. How you doing?
Well, pretty good. It's 88 and sunny in Palm Springs, but as you can tell, I'm inside working today. So
Looks like you have a sunset behind you.
It's a beautiful background, but trust me, I'm inside working today. So I'd like to tell you I'm out on the deck and that's my background, but it isn't.
And I'm in my home office.
Good. You know, I talked this morning, I did for Gift Bar a web meeting, and they asked me what's going on. Are people still negative? And I said, you know, it's really ironic. Up until last weekend, it seemed like everyone was just morose. I mean, like this was the bitter end, right? And all of a sudden it turned to Monday and it's like, I'm hearing way different things together. I know we're going to talk about the web meeting we did with Mr. Rainwater, but people seem to be in a better mood this week. It's crazy, like all of a sudden out of the blue.
I think it depends. I think that depends on who you talk to. I mean, I just get a mixed bag. I mean, we do have a lot of clients within the day spa industry field, day spa, medical spa, plastic surgeon for our agency business. I have other business interests, but my agency, a lot of people within that umbrella of aesthetics, and the whole mixed bag. I mean, you're going to get the whole spectrum of people that are just total negative Nancy's all the way through to your hyper positive sort of folk.
Yeah.
For my clients, and I can only have that barometer of my clients, which is quite a large number as a data selection to get that barometer. But you've got the whole spectrum.
Good. Well, and there always will be. But what I'm telling you, and I don't have my headset on, but as people know, I'm on the phone. I probably talk to at least 100 people a day in all avenues of our industry. And all of a sudden, I'm feeling some creeping light down the tunnel, and I like it. So that's what I'm referring to as people start telling me that they're starting to see some orders, small orders pop through. Their websites are working. They're changing up their manuals. They're putting new cleaning in place. It's good news down the road, you know.
Well, I mean, there's a lot of webinars and a lot of folk in the marketing world promoting, doing virtual type of situations. Zoom, I wish I had shares in Zoom, like what we're using now. We're using the technology of Zoom, which I've used for many years, which had shares in it. I went on to support the other day, and I think I was 283 in line. So God knows what business they've generated just in the last probably couple of weeks. Unbelievable. But yeah, a lot of people are talking about having people do virtual type of consultations and this type of thing. I think it's important that people do a virtual sort of sales process nowadays and figure out how can we do more of this virtual sales process so people don't have to necessarily be touching each other or near each other, and that can be done online. I think the video email space is going to definitely grow, where you can communicate people. You cannot send a video in an email. You can only send a 2 or 3 second GIF, which if you've seen an email where it just sort of like you just see a 2 or 3 second movement, that's called a GIF. The product that we use is called BombBomb.com, BOMB.com, where you can actually do a quick, hello, Allan, I haven't seen you for a while, you know, we're closed. We might be for foreseeable future, but we've got this X, Y, and Z going on. And then you can instantly throw that little personalized video message is what I'm referencing here. Personalized video messaging, where you can speak with the individual client, patient, and then you can then drop that into an email where the first 3 seconds of your conversation with that person is moving, and then when they click it, they open up the personalized video message that you're sending them. So I think personalized video messaging, webinars like Zoom that we're doing, virtual consultations, and the technology built around that definitely has to be used at this time. But I'd encourage people to go and look at BombBomb.com. What's the other one that we use? I'm looking at all these monitors I've got. I think it's Vidyard, 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 or bombomb.com. They're two platforms where you can do these personalized video messages. I think right now you have to be personalized. You have to get out of the mass marketing. You have to start speaking to people at an individual level. So for this industry to do those personalized messages and communication via email, critical. So I'd encourage people to start looking at that sort of tech.
Well, Craig, and I do not like the words new normal, but part of it is going to be a change in this regard, and you have to embrace it, especially in our business as well. On another note,
yeah, go ahead.
I was going to say, on another note, we had a roughly 1,000-person web meeting earlier in the week because, you know, all these government programs have been mind-numbing for people, but it is here. And can you address that for a couple minutes and tell people what was discussed and how to access some of those programs?
Yes, how that came about is all the $2 trillion CARE Act that came out last Friday, signed in by President Trump. Before that, I had a lot of clients, including other various business interests that we have, that say, well, how do you take advantage of all this SBA stuff, this CARE Act, these grants, and this brain damage area of who's got what going on? How do you get these programs? And when you start investigating and digging deep, well, certainly a couple of weeks ago when we were looking at this sort of information, it was pretty mind-numbing and a lot of convoluted information. So I went out to find the who is the best at this field, being able to navigate the process of filling out paperwork, consulting of individual businesses, because my clients needed the help. And so everybody's circumstances is different. Everybody's business is different. They're either a sole proprietor, or they're a business with employees, or they're a multi-location facility. So I found James is part of a group of 200 top CPAs, 7-figure businesses and 8-figure businesses here in the US. And he is the head coach of that group. And they have a team, or they have just dedicated 6 people. That's not the size of their team, but they've just dedicated just 6 people alone to figuring out what the SBA, what the government's doing, this legislation. So they're talking with the SBA. And if you try calling the SBA or banks right now, it's like hours, isn't it? So they've got people just constantly on the phone to the SBA, the IRS, banks, trying to navigate this whole process for small business owners. So that's when I reached out to you, as you know, and said, look, let's do a web class on this. I don't like the word web class or webinar, but we called it an event. It was an emergency event. And that's just, by the way, in marketing, don't stop using the word webinar. We've been using the word web class for about 2 years now, but webinar is just so overused, and it's going to be so much more overused. I would not use that in your marketing. Hey, we've got a webinar on. It's like every man and his dog and next door neighbors doing a webinar these days. So that's just a side note. I'll digress. And anyway, so coming back onto what we did, we called it an emergency event, didn't we? And so we had over 900 people register from the industry, from the spa industry, from your personal friends and business colleagues and the database. What was it? 750 people showed up on that event. It was a 2 hours and over 2.5 hour event where James, our subject matter expert on the topic of how do you get your share of this stimulus package. So he did a presentation. Half of it was a presentation on what was available for the 3 groups of people: sole proprietors, businesses with employees, and multi-locations. And then the latter half was over 150 questions that you quickly fired at him, that people were asking in the chat, of the latter half of the presentation. So that recording is now online and people can access that, but the information's changing. I speak with James daily. The information and legislation and bill and the way that the government's changing is constant, probably like every 6 hours, Alan. So that's the update. They're changing the way that you can apply, what you can apply for, what you can't apply for, literally every 6 hours. So if there's a link around here, up, down, sideways of this video, if people want to access that, then I'd encourage them to go and watch the replay. But also get on the list, because James is also sending out daily updates. So any new legislation, any new information, they will also get the updates as well.
Yeah. At the end of the video, I'm going to put a link to you and a link to the rainwater replay so that people can pick up on that as well. But
Okay. Because there's
thank,
going to be more packages. This is just one stimulant. There's going to be more. There's going to be more, and there's going to be more to navigate, more to figure out, more paperwork, more websites to go on. Do I fill out this? Because really, it's a case of do I fill out this and this? But right now, it's a case, if you fill this and this, you don't get this. I
yeah,
mean, it's like crazy times.
Craig, I want to tell you that in last note, and then we're going to run. So I saw a recording from someone in our industry the other day that said, you don't have to pay anyone to do this. It's free. And the fact is, it is free. You
Yes,
can
it
go
is.
try and do it. But then I had a bunch of emails come back in that said, forget it. I tried to do it and
Well,
it's almost impossible. I need
so
help.
so is doing your accounts free. But if you want to make sure that you get every maximum leveraged tax benefit you possibly can, then get a professional to do it.
All right, we'll put
But
the
you can
link.
do your accounts free if you want.
I'm glad you're healthy. I'm glad that Julie and the girls are healthy, and I'm just wishing you the best. And everybody, remember, pick up the information on the next screen on the video here.
Absolutely. Well, thank you, everybody. Keep safe out there. It'll come right. Thank you, Alan.
Bye bye.
See ya.